Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Coffee Time. This is Sami again here, and today is 13 August 2023, and long live the king. First of all, let me say, first of all, first of all, first of all, let me come here. Let's see last video. It's just, it's just not okay because when I switch to visual, see,
59% of that 8 gig is already in use.
and I don't want, oh really, and I don't want to, very nice, got it. Don't like uh, to record it again. Let's go for the next part. That was just, just class now, just variables, reserves, and nothing special. Let me see how I get this one. Okay. Let's go for the next part, which is classes and object. First of all, let's see what is a class and what is an object in the world of object oriented. This is what's a class. Here is just to say a class is a data structure that may contains the data member. Which data member? Integer, string, which you saw in last one. Okay, function member, function, and we want to see. And let's go to, you remember this one. So okay, look at this. This is just just a piece of code which is just runs just like this. Very good, very fine. But let me say, I have here a class. When I type a class, it gets blue. It's reserved word, class keyword. You get it right. You get it here, class keyword. I say here test class, for example. Congratulations, you made a class. Okay, and now what I'm doing, let's imagine I say I have now a class. This goes in that class. Okay, this goes in that class because, and now if I'm removing now this is a class, huh? And now look at this. Let's say I have a class. I have here, I say here I have, now I want to I want to declare my data member. I say that class has a string, a string test10, and I say here, okay, I have other data here in that class, which in the class you are not going to use var, is not allowed. Okay, you have to declare what type of data is. For example, I say here I have an integer calculation, for example, I don't know, is equal to 5 or whatever. Double, for example, something is equal to, I don't know, 12, 0. It depends where you're living. Okay, like this. Decimal also. Wait a moment, long. I don't know, in Java you have to let's say some long is equal to, oh yeah, here you have to say also, for example, you have to say L, and then compiler knows that is a long. Or is that like this expected, or am I need let's say here, for example, this is long. Okay, if I remove L, compiler gives some error, I think, or not. Long sum, why not? Here, too large. It's going to UL, I think, or it's going to be u in, I don't know which type is that. No, that was not, I don't know, let me see. For example, here that was long. Let's imagine you get some problem here, you don't know what for type is that or what. I'm telling you something. Many years back, I mean 20 years back, when you had a problem, okay, when you had a problem, something like, for example, something like, it doesn't matter which type of problems, no Google, no nothing, you had to think. And now last year's was Google, and now let me say here, I'm saying, okay, I'm coming with ChatGPT. I say here, here, see, I have this, I put also L here, and now let's see what ChatGPT wants to say. I have this variable in C#, but my compiler gives some red line. Why? Just ask. This is for the next step. Just it say that's not anymore a long because that's too large, and that is a big integer. Okay, like this. If you play with things, hey, maybe you ask me where I need big integer. You will find it later. Okay, for example, I have here data member, I have here other data member, string, some string, for example, I don't know, test1. Okay, this is a string. A class has something named constructor. Constructor is used to, for example, let's imagine I have here a string is 10. I have here a integer which is 5. Okay, but let's imagine this is 0. Okay, let's imagine this integer is 0, and let me see, is it valid? We don't do it. Okay, I have here a string, I have here a string, I have here a string. I'm going to say I have here a string empty, and I have an integer is 0. Simple class. Now I want to say when my class fires up, this test wants to change to something else. Okay, the constructor has some rules. The name of the class without just access modifier public, which is like this, public, and the name of the class. This is my constructor, and I want to say a string s here. This is a mechanism. Let me remove, for example, this one also. Okay, I say here I have a simple class which has one data member, which is test, and I want to say how you use this class. We are coming later. This is just to know a data member, how data member in a class. Let's imagine I have other class 2. Okay, I have class 2, and this class 2 test class 2, for example. I say here I'm going to copy it again, and I say here class 2. Just important to know concept, that's it. Okay, I mean class 2, just know the concept, that's all. And I say here test class 2 is equal to this, class 2, okay, is equal to class 2. I mean, what do you do, bro? I say here this is coming here is equal to s. What say? Okay, this is the type of class. Okay, test class, string test1, test2. What did it say? Class 2. Okay, I didn't say other name. Okay, it's constructor name and like this. But please note, each class has own structure, and you can't just like this access to get access to this. You have to make mechanism. And now let's imagine here. I have here two class, huh? And let's imagine this is a class. Let's here say now I want to use these classes. We have a class, and now we have a class somewhere, and now we want to use this class. We want to make object, let's say a type of copy of something. I'm coming here, my class is just test class, huh? Test class. I say here when I want to use something, or I want to make object of a class in any object oriented language, just you are going to do like this. Oh, here is it. I'm saying here, for example, the name of the class, test class, my first test. This is just not to memorize something, just structure, nothing to learn. This is just to watch at the time. Okay, I say here my class is equal to new, a new reserve word which you saw in that keywords. With keyword new, I'm going to tell to my compiler, just make a new object of that test class, and then test class. This is a structure how you make an object of a class. But it say, hey, red. Why? It say that class accept a string in constructor. It will give me some string. Okay, I say here this is your string. First of all, let me look. This is just two class. Let me run application now, just without anything. What's happened here? Let me check here. Static method. Public static. Let me public static void main. Oh no. I mean static main. What is static main? Let me come here. Oh my. Let me come here. I say here write static main C#. Here. This is static void. Oh, static void main string. That's just exact like Java. Okay. Okay. I have here. This is just main class entry point of the program. Here. Program runs here. We have. Let's run it. Just run it. Huh? Nothing, because there is nothing there. Just we declare two classes, and now let's let's use that classes, huh? I say here this is this test class. My test is equal to new here, and let's pass that string also, which constructor say when I'm going to initialize this class, when this class begins to works, it's need a string. It accept a string to be complete our structure, and after that it executes some things. Okay, here is it. This is your test. Okay, this is your test, and I want to say here, let's run it. Now you say, okay, we initialize that, and now let's run it. Still nothing, because things happens here, things calculated, but you have to print it. Console, so simple, huh? Simplest way. My test, I say just console now, you write that my test class which which I see here, and just run it now. And now you see here, you see again nothing. What? Why? uh, I say here public void show text here, or wait, I say here that that's a string here, and here I will return, for example, but this is really no need to do like this. Test one, you write it and make it, and then I say here let me see here again. Oh yeah. Or for example, let's see, still nothing. What why nothing? Because this class returns nothing. I bring it here. Just watch what I'm doing. These are just basics, huh? Here. Just it doesn't matter which problems you see. Concept. Do not need to remember anything. I have here C# code which doesn't shows anything. Okay, and now let's see what it say. This is what it say. This is what it say. Okay, here we have override a string to a string. Okay, I don't want to talk about these things here. Here when we have a class, we have overrided a string. When you say here overrided a string, for example, let me come here. This is, you see, public override a string. Override, you want to override something there. It say there is something, but you want to rewrite it. This method is available in all classes, but here in this class we overwrite it, but here in this class is just a default. Okay, and that is simple. I want to talk about these things later and hold it so simple. That's why I try to make just a method. And now let me run this. Big Daddy, Big Daddy, Big Daddy, Big Daddy. Again nothing. Why? Why again nothing? Big Daddy. Oh, Daddy. Let me see here. This is your test. My test. That's to a string. Bro, Big Daddy. Big Daddy. This is your test. Okay, this is simple structure, and this is class and object. Class, object. Because look, I'll show you something, huh? I have here getter, sitter. Let me say now if I'm removing this now. These are things later. Okay, test class. Okay, now let's go to Microsoft. Let's see what we get there. Okay, objected, define. Here we have a class, namespace. Next part is a place where you work on. I have here a class has data, getter and setter. We want to talk about getter and setter. Here is the best place. Before here let's say here say a public string, for example. Let's say here public string is get and set. What is a get and set? Getter and setter. Getter and setter. Okay, we have getter and setter. Get is get a value which is coming in, and set is going to set new value. Let me flash back to Java. Setter, getter. Let's say encapsulation. Okay, let's see how getter and setter and C# is also exact a copy of Java. I mean, not a copy of Java, just 90%. Okay, let's see. We have here a class in Java, but that's exactly what you see here, just like C#. We have a class, we have a variable, and now let's see in Java it say public void set variable and get variable, and these are standard things, set and get, and the next letter will be capital, and compiler knows that it's mean what to do. And in here in C# we can also write it exact in this way, but here getter and setter. So I'm talking about this in the next part, but let me see here. We have here a method, access modifier, make deposit name and parameters here. Other method does nothing, but this is just a method. These are data member, a function which you can call to execute something. Just function as a modifier, sometimes well, sometimes not. And the void is a return. This is just a return type. This wants to say each method has a return type. It's going to return something, or it's going only execute a task, return nothing. Okay, here for example void wants to say this method do not want return something. Void is just void. Let me come here. For example, we have again constructor here, which, let me see, a constructor is a member that has the same name as class. It used to initialize object of that class. Add the following constructor. Say here we had a class here, and we have here data members. But now how we use it, how we get in entry point, how we get access to this class here, constructor. I say here that class has a constructor, same name. The constructor accept two name. It wants to say when you want to call this method, you have to pass two things, which you make here now, a string and one decimal. When you call it, you have to pass that to method parameter, which is this. And when you pass, for example, you call my name Armin and that, and you say okay, owner of that bank account is Armin, and balance is which is coming here. A method calls to other method. For example, you see this name is coming from other function or other class automatically. You won't see, for example, and this keyboard, what is this keyboard? This refer to this class, just this here, just here, parent. I mean no parent, just here, this. In this is only required. Let me see here. Here, precision code identifies the parameters of the code by constructing by including this. Provided is usually optional and omitted. You can also really write this. Okay, you refer to this class. You say this balance. Which balance? This balance which was here. Sometimes maybe you have to deal with several classes, and maybe this wants to get the job done. and here in a class we have using keyword. Here using, if I remove it, what happened? Let's check. At this time nothing. But when I say using system, I'm using a library and I'm importing my library here, okay, and I say I want to use system library using keyword. These are all classes. Here is a class. I have here program C#. Here I have a class, two class, and let me see here. Now we want to make object of that bank account. You say here var account is equal to new bank account. You have to pass a name and an amount, which you see here, okay, which we saw also here, just a string. Let me see here, private static int static. Let me say static is something where you wanna use a method everywhere in I don't know, is it in whole program or in some structure, but the static used everywhere. Well, please note, if you have, for example, a class, you can't use static data member. Your class should be also static, okay. Let me see, create deposit and withdrawal, and say here we have other class which is transaction, tree data, we have a constructor, very simple, very clear. And now it wants to get transaction. It say we have here a list. We have here, just watch, no need to, just we have a list of that transaction class. It say when you say we have a list of that transaction, we have a list of objects, okay, because maybe it's going fires up for 200 times, okay. We have a list of that object, which is again new, and repeat the same thing here, and here it say we have a method here. This is a method function, a public decimal. This method wants to return decimal type. I don't know what you're doing there. At that end you return decimal. If I'm getting the code, it say get, you get balance, and it's the old way, and then just balance plus item, and at the end return balance, a decimal number. A class, something comes in, something goes out. I say, okay, send your data here to my class, and I'm going to work on, and I send you something back. Here I have a method, which this is the name, then you are free to name what you want, accepts 3 arguments here, and the rest of the code. This is just a structure of a class, structure. When you want, for example, something, for example, you say, hey, when I start my car, I want to hear radio, just default. When I start, I want to hear radio, something like this. I say, hey, when my class starts, I want you initialize that string 1, this integer that 2, and then at the end make a calculation, make a logic, make a business logic, make whatever you want, and then return me what I need. Okay, other method, this is when you see public string int double, this is return time. This class, finally this class wants to return a string, and if that is not a string, we are going to cast it to a string. It doesn't matter, okay. But this is just class, and this is just a method, just public. This is the name, what you want. This method accept no argument, just call it, and that's also nice. Let me see what I get here. For example, getter sitter, here for example I have here get and set. You see that, you say here, for example, just come here, I say here, for example, I have if, for example, I say here, for example, you put it here. Here is get, you say test1, string test1. When you get a string, for example, this I have here, this is your test, okay. I can say instead here I say here when you get that string one, because when I call this, it's going here. So okay, I'm going here. I say here when you get this name, and then you can set it. For example, change it to something and then return it. That's it. Just get it and set it. It wants to say I want when I get this property from, I want you change it, or I want you do some business logic, and then that's my string. That's nice, you know. That's the meaning of class. And very nice, very clear. Just with one line you initialize, or you go to make an object of that, instantiate it, so let's say that, and I'm working with. Here you see we have a class, public string, getter, setter, access modifier, which is for example public, return type, and method name. This is just method name whatever you want. And we have here other method which only say hello, and here we have other class, two data member, and we have a method in that class which returns a full name. Constructor, which is just the name of the class. Again, I'm telling, just new, you make object of that class, and you say for example here with dot. Let me come here. I have here now two data, a string C. I want to say here for example owner is equal to C. Okay, I'm coming here, then I say here I'm going to say I have two string because this is like this. Okay, and look at here, let me see here you make an object of a student class, and just a student class has a first name. Let me bring it here, just show you. Let me see, I have here first name and last name. Just no need, this is just simple, but let's put it here. I put this here, and then I say here for example I say here, now I have where is my class TT for example, and then I'm coming here. Okay, this is a class, and I say here, now imagine this class has no constructor. You see, some classes contains constructor, some other not. Here what I'm going to deal with this, how I'm getting, for example, you say here TTT pardon, TTT. I'm really, what the heck is this, bro, TTT. Okay, I'm going to make an object of that class. Now you say me, Sami, there is no constructor. What I'm doing here, I say here, when I make an object, I say here I have a variable here which is now object of that class. Now I say again my T, which is this one, dot. When I say dot, I get access to all data. First name is equal to Armin, for example, and again my T. Please note, when you use the same variable, is highlighted everywhere in the code. And last name last name is equal to last name, for example, and a string full name. Okay, and with dot you get access to the class. Just come back here, and look, and when I say here for example, and now last method, if I call this, is return first name and last name, which in my example you saw we made override the return type of the class. Is the same. And that is it for today. I mean, have a nice day. See you in the next one.